Welcome to your Magic Moon message. This is the Peace Dealer, and we are, of course, processing this full moon cycle. Yeah. Whew. Of course, relative to this full moon in Scorpio, it's going to harvest at around like 22 degrees and give you a pure understanding of value. You're not only breaking through, but complete this pipeline of instant manifestation you've been working on. It's definitely going to be shocking. And hopefully it'll transform your sense of what you're worth and the latent equity and quality you operate with. So let's go into that. All right. As frequency, I don't know if you generate frequencies or frequency, whatever beings. Oh, look at that. High impact sign. Should be pretty interesting. Especially for those of you dealing with monitoring spirits, and just, essences, entities, real physical people, all sorts of vibrations that are seeking to drain your focus and energy and distract you and whatnot. They may realize it's never been working. It's not going to work. Okay. Huge quality of a Taurus season like this is just reinstilling and updating your value in yourself, what you're worth. And this is important because, especially moving forward as you break through, the moon in the social zodiac signs, Scorpio is the last social sign before we ascend collectively, universally. In understanding the social nature, being aware of your own value, it mainly goes in towards, how much you let other people manipulate and influence you. So that huge Pluto in Aquarius 2024 to 2044 chapter is awakening you to the corruption of humanity. Actually, it's awakening humanity. So those are the positive themes. But just like Pluto and Capricorn started to remind you that corruption runs deep even at the highest elite levels of the world, and you start to see more, government corrupt officials have been exposed before Pluto was in Cap. But it was a main, is something that everyone awakened to more. Now this is extending towards humanity, right? And really just more the collectivism of humanity, how groupthink could create disastrous consequences. It's all not just bad, right? There's positives of this, but these are some potential negatives, new levels, new devils, as you know. The most important thing about this T-square with the full moon, because we had the moon in Scorpio opposite the coming into the sun in Taurus, and both of those are square Pluto in Aquarius, which is making across to Mars in Leo. And it really comes down to this. How accessible are you socially to others? And what do I mean by that? How much do you let other people manipulate you? Certain people only hold value towards you as much as you allow them to influence you and manipulate you. People can put on good smiles, customer service faces, but if you're not in a position to let them influence you, if you can't be manipulated by these people, if their beliefs, if their lifestyle, if their nature isn't able to have you be an extension of that in their world, most people won't see any value in you. Most people won't have a use for you, because regardless of what they say, their actions are showing that you are only worth to them whatever you enable the extension of their beliefs. A lot of people say, I respect your beliefs even if I don't believe it. but their actions don't reflect that. To the extent that you don't add on to their belief systems, to the extent that you don't necessarily fit within the box of their frame of understanding, they don't see a worth for you. And then it gets even more crazy when your inherent value that can't be taken away from you actively clashes with beliefs they value. This can cause others to grow resentment. So with the square to Pluto and Mars, a lot of this has been teaching you how consciously and unconsciously, in an effort to feel included, in an effort to feel like you belong, have you inadvertently devalued yourself so you can fit into the mainstream or narrative of someone else just to feel like you belong. Because that's the major lesson of Taurus season. You have some people who traded in their value for acceptance. And then you have people who don't care if they're accepted, they're going to stand on their value. One is weak and the other is a boss. I'll let you figure out who is who, because a boss is not going to sacrifice their own value they work for in order to be accepted, in order to retcon the nature of who they are so that, oh, this is who we think you are. This is what we believe. This is how we want to influence you. A lot of people just want to control other people. A lot of people only see you as valuable to the extent that you let them manipulate you. And then you see their true colors come out when they realize they're not even strong enough to move you. You have your own core values, okay? So this full moon in Scorpio is a psychoanalytical understanding of 2 weeks worth of activating and integrating this new cycle of quality, these new values you're updating in order to manifest more wealth and value in your life as a grounded application of the actions you've taken through Aries season. All right, to step forward into that direction. And this is instant manifestation, y'all. That's the final Uranus in Taurus. Y'all gotta look at this full moon. It looks pretty dope. So, people are going to say a lot. People are going to say things to get in your ego, to shift you. They're going to preach to a choir. They're not going to talk to you. There's nothing they can say to you. They have an idea of you. They don't really know who you are. That's why you intimidate them, because they can't control you, because they're weak and they don't really have any power or value within. They constantly seek validation from others. They need physical material to feel valuable because they've never really had anything. And I don't mean in a material sense. They've never had that understanding of who they are. This is why they latch on to fake religions who have stolen their legacy, made up narratives with prophets who've claimed to see a God, like that whole bullshit. You never needed that. They can't manipulate you. This is where the source of this resentment comes up, even unconsciously, genetically, all that. So why this is important is because now that you are harvesting this sense of value, right? People are going to be talking. People are going to be saying stuff to get under your skin. You don't have to do that. You're instantly manifesting. That's the next step we're moving forward. You speak with this alignment of your intentions with your actions. You act and the universe responds. Unlike other people who have to create narratives and speak to externally shift whatever, which is weak. That's not going to work moving forward. It's not going to work on you. That's why you're any irritation you're getting external to you is because you're not conforming to their standards and values. It's like a fixed sign tug of war. All right. Friction is necessary to strengthen your conviction. So you're going to come into a very socially nuanced depth of what other people feel about what you're worth and how you will not compromise because you're not a coward. You're going to stand for those values. This is going to, moving forward, break you through. So we're finally at the breakthrough portion. And another couple of days in closing out this Taurus cycle, you're going to activate the Uranian conjunction. And you allow people to say what other stuff, once again, to get under your skin or to whatever. Only weak people do that. No one who's secure in themselves does that. So you don't even need to like communicate back. Snap your fingers, bro. We're at instant manifestation territory. Decide what it is, move forward. Versus wavering and saying something, but your actions don't necessarily reflect that. This is your breakthrough. Someone who fully understands what they're worth will reflect that, versus wavering and arguing with others who, through Aries, it's established they don't even know what and who you truly are. So no one who knows what and who you truly are, borrowing delusions from a whole nother group that doesn't understand, they can't know what you're worth. So it's that's why it's non-negotiable, my friend, and we've already taken it through the market. Anyway, that being said, the square to Aquarius is revisiting, of course, now how they're shifting into a next age, and of course, more intense awakening impacts this valuation. And with the Mars and Leo, you're still taking this social courageous action to stand on these values and not back down, whether due to the face of peer pressure. You know what I'm saying? If certain people were kind of confronted by millions of people online or as a discourse, a lot of people would fold quickly. That's not value, that's weakness. You have to have the strength to stand on what you know is real and not sugarcoat and shift because you want to appeal to make other people feel good. That's just letting your arm get twisted. And that's what makes this intense. Whether in a macro scale or a micro scale, the long-term effects of standing on your value will be worth it, even if you lose everyone else in the process. Don't take my word for that, though. You know, really see for yourself. And you'll know because you've cultivated this sense of self-worth. So those who have nothing else really to say or contribute, all they can do is throw ad hominems, throw name calling, because they have no substance. That's all they can do. They can't demonstrate anything they believe because they were born in falsity and they live a lie. So no one who lives a lie you should ever let, in under any circumstances, tell you about yourself and what you're worth. And then you move forward victorious because you did the work. You did the shadow work. You didn't bypass spiritually. You actually confronted these things in yourself and reflected them towards others. All right. That being said, no mental projections are really going to help moving forward and stopping you and what you're worth. And this is going to really go a long way towards continuing to break through this value. We are in now we've been in instant manifestation territory, but as the sun gets ready for its final conjunction, now that we're breaking through and harvesting this transit, it's like an oil pipeline. So you're going to start to understand how your current wealth is transforming and how to open the way for more value as this will go into Moon in Sagittarius. Then you'll get an ascended higher meaning understanding of how your wealth and how your worth and values are actively transforming, of how you can see this process of instant manifestation and the bridge of incidents that are immediately brought forth. Remember, when you stand in your value, you're not going to be easily jarred from falsities others say because you know what you're worth. Versus others who are mainly just preaching to acquire so that they can feel externally validated. You don't need that. You got that within. You can replicate and produce this value at will. So it's legitimately nothing to worry about, to be completely honest, and everything to stand on and continue to build. Because once we go into Gemini season, we're going to produce this initial effect. And you're going to start to see what this new world order timing is about. All right. And yeah, as the world, shifts its politics over the next 30 years, remember where you stand in this, and that comes into accepting who you are and what you know you're worth before anyone else acknowledges that or has to verify that for you. No one should ever have to verify your worth. You live it and you manifest it real time. So you stay blessed. This is going to really reveal a lot of deep secrets. The trine of Saturn at the end of Pisces will align with the shifting of your belief systems, and the opposition of Uranus should do well to, manifest unexpected windfalls of income or just radical shifts in what you accept your worth. You stay blessed as always. I hope you enjoy this full moon and transformation. Peace.